Hello everyone and welcome to our first garden update of the season. That's crazy. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like things are a little slow, a little behind, but here we are. The first thing you're going to notice about the garden is that something is missing. I have officially taken down the hoop house. That's kind of a symbol that I'm officially leaving this garden. It's been a long time. It's been a long ride and it's been a lot of work, but I'm so happy to leave even though I don't have a place to grow elsewhere yet. That's an entirely different dilemma, but the hoop house is gone. We used that hoop house for 4 or 5 years, maybe 5 years, 5 seasons. I remember I first built it. You can tell in the video, a hoop house under $200 here on the channel when I built this thing. I had so many comments being like, that's never gonna last, blah, blah, blah. And here it was, usable for 5 years for 200 bucks. Actually, it was less, like 190 or 160 or something. I don't remember. Anyway, getting right to the garden, we have our ranunculus is the first thing we're going to look at. Now, you remember I had a lot of trouble with my ranunculus. I lost a big section of them, and I wasn't sure what happened. And turns out it was drainage. This spot in the garden is very low. Every single time it rains, now that I've had the chance to remove the tunnels because it's warmer, every single time it rains, there is standing water there for days. And this was happening during the winter when it was also cold and freezing, and those corms just rotted away. Lesson learned. Very hard lesson learned. I wish I would have known the drainage was that bad. It wasn't that bad the previous summer. I don't know what happened, but it was drainage. Okay, so I promise to show you the real garden, the truth of the garden. I lost a big bunch of ranunculus, and it makes my stomach turn. I hate it. I love ranunculus so much. I hate that I lost them. But the other ranunculus bed, the smaller ranunculus bed, which also housed some of our more fancy varieties, is doing perfectly fine, totally healthy. So that's a good thing. We're going to have some ranunculus this year. No big deal. The anemones, which are also in the better flower bed with the other fancy ranunculus, they are blooming. They look a little bit rough right now. We recently had a cold snap. They are blooming just really, really pretty shades of nice pastel colors. I have some aphids in there. On a warm day, I went through and just blasted them with a garden hose, and it seems like the aphid damage has just pretty much stopped since I blasted them really well, so can't complain there. In terms of the other flower beds, the Snapdragons are looking really, really good, surprisingly good. There is, of course, a bunch of weeds in there. Even though I have weed barrier, the weeds that I do have are very invasive. I have Creeping Charlie and Bittercress and Red Dead Nettles and something else. I can't even remember. There's so many. Violets. These weeds that I have are all really invasive. But, you know, the Snapdragons, they've got good height. They're growing through it. No big deal. I think we're going to have some beautiful Snapdragons. In the same bed, you'll remember we had those scented stalks. They're completely dead. I've just accepted that overwintering scented stalks completely here in my zone may not be an option at all. And still experimenting with that, trying to learn more about that. So, of course, I will keep you posted as I learn more. Moving around into the garden, we also have the tulip bed. This tulip bed is looking exceptionally good, I think. It is coming right up. You can see I've planted them really, really densely, and they have no problem growing like this. I mean, tulips are a true flower bulb. That means the flower's already in there when we plant them. So I expect a lot of bloom. You can see this long row is very full, but at the end, it's really spotty. This is really a bummer for me. I had made this order from a different supplier, and because they had some of the more fancy varieties that I really, really wanted, so I paid extra for them, and they are just a total failure, pretty much. And there's no reason for me to believe that anything different happened between these tulips and the tulips that are growing great. So that's really a disappointment. But, you know, what are you going to do? Sometimes things just don't work out the way you planned them. Also, the last thing I wanted to show you before this video is over is that our daffodils have started to bloom. A lot of the early season daffodils have already started to bloom. Things like the Barrett Browning and the Ice Follies daffodil. I know Ice Follies is always one of the very first flowers to start blooming for me here every single spring. And a lot of them have simply started to just emerge from the soil. A lot of these ones that are kind of behind are the ones that I planted very late in. I even was planting into the end of November last year just because so many shipments were late and everything. But I'm looking forward to making the daffodil and tulip tour videos this year. I think I ordered a lot of really, really great varieties. And sometime soon during the summer, we'll also be having a video about how to dig up all of your daffodils and maybe divide them if they need divided, and move them, because I'm leaving this garden and there is no way that I'm leaving behind all these daffodils. There's probably like 1,000 daffodils in the backyard back here, and there's no way I'm leaving them. I'm digging them all up and taking them with me. That's really about it for this one. I hope that it was helpful. As always, if you have any questions, you can be sure to leave those down in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to try to answer those if you'd like. And I hope that you're having a really great day. I hope it's beautiful and sunny wherever you are. And I'll talk to you all later. Bye.